Lundy's Butcher Shop. I've been wanting to cut a brisket off of a beef front quarter with you guys for quite a while, and I finally have 5 seconds of quiet time here. So traditionally, if we were taking this beef apart piece by piece, this is not how I would do it. We're probably going to wreck some of the flat of the brisket because we're not going to get it all, especially when we have to quarter animals out. Like this will be a quartered animal. Which means 2 people are sharing half of the side of this animal, a half beef. So I have to make cuts equal, even, so we're probably going to get a good chunk of the brisket, but not the whole thing. So let's break this one down. So this is a 920-pound beef carcass. So she's a pretty good sized girl. All right. So we got the rib, short rib, and plate section cut off. Now we're going to move to the front. Okay. So I have to position my beef in order to get it on the saw. I like to position it first on the table before I move it. They're heavy, so just use inertia. Now we got it in the position. I like it. Let's go to the saw. So I'm 5'3" on a good day, and this is over a 900-pound beef. Most of the time I can't lift the front quarter. So I put everything on wheels in my butcher shop so I can push it closer and slide it over. Just like that. We'll break it down into more manageable sections. Now we're going to look right here. You can see where the brisket ends right here on this beef. So we're going to try to hit that and catch our arm roast at the same time. Okay. This is what we have. Here's your front leg. This is your brisket. All the way around. See, we clipped it perfectly down here. We're going to pivot. So when I tell you, if we were to do this piece by piece and take this muscle group apart at a time individually, where we're not quartering this animal out, this flat, this is the point right here of the brisket that you always hear barbecue people talk about. This is the point. This is the chest plate that we cut in half on the floor after harvest. And this is the flat of the brisket. So it goes flat to the point, and you can see it if I put my arm on it like that. So we're going to remove this bone and remove the leg from it. And believe it or not, there's not a bone in between the two. So we're going to run our knife right down the middle here of this. And that's it. It's just a fat muscle connection right there. That leg, unless I need shank bones or soup bones, I'm probably not going to do a lot with it. Probably just bone it out for burger. Then it is soup bone season. So this one's kind of funny. If I kind of scrape it up here a little bit. This is just fat and bone dust, probably more fat than anything. I need a new blade on my saw. But you watch here, turn to the side, you see it's been fat encompassed, and then the muscle runs to here. So we're going to bring it up to here, to this bone. And this fat is really hard. I think brisket is, removing a brisket sometimes can make you say some swear words, and that's okay. I feel like it's just that cut that is super challenging and tough on a knife. Animals that are 500-pound carcasses, 600-pound carcasses tend to not develop the best brisket around. I don't always recommend taking them off those animals. They look really scrappy. You know, you're not going to get a true good smoke flavor brisket on one of those. It's going to cook a lot faster, so you're going to really have to adjust. This is the part because this bone doesn't sit. You kind of got to balance it. And it's just a big, hard hunk of white fat and bone. You'll see a lot of people use the hand meat hooks, and I never trained with one of them, those hooks. Honestly, I'm kind of afraid I'm going to stab myself with it. There we go. There's the inside of a brisket. Here's the outside. Now the trick is we're going to clean all of this up. This has all been exposed to the cooler. It's dried out. It doesn't make the prettiest product. So we're going to clean it up. But this will make a very nice brisket. And you can tell we got a good chunk of the flat on there. If we went to the other side where we cut it off, we could have taken more flat here. But it's okay. We got a really beautiful brisket for this person. We're going to leave it as a whole. They're going to treat it as a packer brisket off a 920-pound carcass. Sometimes this white fat is so dense on these that I throw them on my saw and I just cut the fat with my saw, especially if I have a lot of beef to cut that day and I try to save on my wrists. My wrists take a beating here. White fat is very dense. It requires a very sharp knife, and it will dull your sharp knife very fast as well. So we're just going to pull that off, clean it up nice. If you are a deer hunter or a hunter of any type and you like to do your own sausages at home, you get a quarter of beef, you can always ask your butcher to save you this stuff, bag it for you, and you can use it as your own fat when you make your sausage. I think a good majority of us butchers will do just about anything if we can on your animal. I think where a lot of miscommunication comes from is when you don't have a finished enough animal and you want everything off of them. That makes things really, really challenging for a butcher. This is also the part, the brisket always gets a hair stuck on it, or, you know, it's right in a funky area on the animal when you're on the kill floor with them and skinning them. So I always just like to clean it off, make it look really pretty. You know, nobody wants to get a brisket home and have a hair stuck in it. But you don't want to take too much off that who's ever getting this can't trim it down to their own likings. So I just try to skim the top to get the pretty white exposed. We'll call it a day and throw it to the wrapper. papers over here. Okay. This is about as much as I'm gonna do to this brisket. Some people really like to leave this fat cap on. I trim mine off when I do brisket. So I don't want to waste this for somebody or cut it off or trim it how they wouldn't want it. So there you go. Pulling a brisket off your custom beef 101.